What's going on, critical thinkers? Professor Leis here. As I mentioned in the video explaining the prompt for major essay project number 2, here's a video where I'm going to show you how to find that written text that you will analyze for major essay project 2. So when you log into Canvas and you go to our home page for our class, look to the left navigation bar, the local navigation bar, and then you'll click on the tab that says Cypress College Library Resources. So that's what I clicked on and what I'm currently looking at now. So you're going to go to the tab that says A to Z database list. So what I'm going to look for is a specific database called Opposing Viewpoints in Context, or Gale in Context. Now when you click on this, it should prompt you to enter your student ID number along with your last name to provide credentials in order to access the databases. But I already did that step, so it's not going to come up for me. So don't worry if it says that for you. All you need to do is your student ID number and then your last name to access the databases. So let's click on that. So I'm looking for Opposing Viewpoints. So here it is, Opposing Viewpoints, Gale in Context. So let's click on this. And it should take you to this screen here. So just as with any database, there's a search bar where you can type in a keyword and search that way. There's also this feature, issues of interest, so they're highlighting this particular issue, and I'm willing to bet it's because of that Joe Exotic documentary that came out at the beginning of quarantine. Remember those days? So far away, so fondly we look back. Not really, but so that's something that's kind of a hot topic that they're featuring there. So this is they'll feature hot topics. So you can go ahead and click the arrows to kind of cruise through there if you'd like. But what I'm going to do, or what I'm going to suggest, rather than typing into a key term into the search field and rather than just looking at the hot topics, go to this feature where it says Browse Issues. So there's a little light bulb, and underneath that it says Browse Issues. So let's go and click on that so we can browse around. And so what it does is it has aggregated in alphabetical order all of the issues that this particular database has sources on. So it's in alphabetical order like I mentioned. So we have 3 columns, and as you can see, the list is quite extensive. Look at all these issues. So what I'm going to suggest you do is go through this list of issues and look for one that catches your interest, one that you have a strong opinion about. As I mentioned when I was explaining in the prompt, it should be something that you do have a strong opinion about, not something that you're kind of wishy-washy or don't really have an opinion on. It should be something you have a strong opinion about. I'm just going to click one for just for the sake of example. Literacy. So what will happen is it will show you this kind of overview, okay, and it says read more. This is just meant to be background information, okay, so I want to make this abundantly clear. This is not the source that you would use. This is just kind of like a more credible Wikipedia, okay? Do not use the background information or the overview for your source. Instead, let's go back to the page for this topic. Instead, scroll down a little bit more, and then we have featured viewpoints. Now, all of these things are going to be written texts, written articles, okay? So look for one that espouses a view that is against yours, okay? Now I'm just going to click on one for the sake of example. So you can click on this, and then it will come up with a little bit of commentary about the article. So the citation kind of stuff here, a little context for it. But here is the article itself. Okay. That one doesn't really have all that much. It's not a lot there. So I'm going to suggest that you find an article that has a little bit more length to it. That means that I'll probably have a lot more content for you to analyze. You don't need to analyze the argument as a whole, but you want to make sure that you have enough in there. Viewpoints, okay, so violent media hinders students' emotional and intellectual development. You know, so that's just for the sake of example here. So you click on those things. Democrats encourage and enable fraud in voter registration. Oh my goodness. So that's a viewpoint. You can, that's something that is opposed to your understanding. Students are turning to plagiarism because they lack writing skills. This seems very controversial. So I'm going to just use this one as in my example now. So you'll want to make sure that you read the article before you select it. Okay, so make sure that you read the article and determine it is indeed one that you would like to analyze, because you're going to be spending some time with this article. You want to make sure it does espouse a view that is against yours. And then we have, they provide the citation for you according to the different citation styles. We of course use MLA 8th edition, so that's great. It's right there. And then you have some features here where you can export it to like Google Drive or EasyBib or some Noodle Tool, some other different things. So when you find your article, you want to make sure that you save it. Okay, so whether you copy and paste the text into a different document, or you, email it to you so you can send the article to yourself, do whatever you need to do to make sure that you have access to this article, so that you don't lose it. Okay, so if you find something and you want to make sure you're going to be able to find it, right? Okay, well, I think that about does it. Now, of course, there are other ways that you can find articles, and if you already have one in mind, that's great. Or maybe if you have a question, you can go ahead and email me. You can message me on Canvas if you want to brainstorm or run something by me, that's fine. But again, make sure it is a written article, so it can't be just an image or a video. It needs to be a written article or essay on an issue that you care strongly about, and it needs to espouse a viewpoint that goes against yours. Okay, so those are kind of the parameters here. But again, I suggest looking at this whole list of different topics. There's several hundreds of them. So there we go. All right, y'all. So again, if you have questions, let me know. Otherwise, happy researching. Have fun with this.